You're listening to the Career Plus Life Catch-Up, episode number 84. Welcome to the Career Plus Life Catch-Up, a show anchored in reality to help you create a balanced life where you enjoy both your work and your life, because you don't have to choose. I am your host, Cecile Ferry, a corporate executive turned coach and working mom. This is your place for insights, advice, and tools to optimize your career direction, balance, and confidence. I'm so glad you're here. Let's get into it. Hello, my beautiful friend, and welcome to the podcast episode that maybe you have been waiting on, where I'm going to finally talk about 2024. I am ready. I'm here. I'm actually been quite looking forward to putting this podcast together and be here and share with you my thought. And it's not mega structured, you will see. It's a bit of a mix of different thoughts, point of view, and insight that I've had in the work that I've done maybe in the last week or two on the year and on myself and on my goals. So I just wanted to come and share that with you. I'm going to try to articulate it and structure it in a way that makes sense. And hopefully that is really valuable to you. And little heads up, it might be a bit different from what you hear out there, and it is quite subjective, quite personal. So as usual, just take what resonates with you and leave the rest. I hope that 2024 has started nicely for you, hopefully not too fast. You've been able to slowly ease back into it. Maybe you are still off, which would be lovely. I've had about 2 weeks back to work and really just getting back into my business for about a week, but I've gone at it very slowly. I'm very mindful that we only get that opportunity about once a year, and then it just goes until we have some proper leave, and then it's Christmas, and then we stop again. So let's not hurry too much, right? That's the first thing I want to say about 2024. So today I want to talk about 2 things. I want to share my thoughts about the year to come. And these are only my thoughts, but kind of my forecast based on my intuition. And then I'm going to share with you how I've planned my goals this year. I tend to use different methods over time, so there is no right or wrong. I'm going to share my process this year, and I'll also share some examples of my goals and a bit of a method for you to follow if it appeals to you. So we're going to get to that in a minute. It's going to be inspiring, and I promise you it will be very easy to relate to and down to earth. And that's what you can expect from me. That's what you've had in the last 83 episodes, and that will carry on. I will say a little side note about this year and the podcast episodes. I'm really excited that I'm pretty sure I'm going to crack the 100 episode mark this year. And I'm really committed to do this podcast if I can more often. I really enjoy it. I get really good feedback from you guys, and I appreciate you so much. Like, without you listening, I wouldn't be here. And I have a feeling the content of the podcast is going to gradually shift, and you will see me integrate more of the things that I have discussed in podcast number 83. And if you haven't checked it out, maybe go and listen, where I talk about what's come to me last year and what I want to implement and integrate more into my business this year. That includes more intuition, that includes more manifestation, and includes more astrology. It may not be your cup of tea, and that is okay. If you just want straight career advice, you will probably see less and less of that. But what I'm going to be sharing is more mindset-based information. It's linked to it's linked to what we are all feeling. It's linked to my own journey, my own learning, my own insights. It's linked to psychology. So it is very anchored in reality, but it might feel a lot more in terms of mindset than it will be on work and career and that sort of topics. But it is always all gearing towards having a more fulfilling life, having a more peaceful life, having more freedom, and really having the life that matches what we desire deep down. It's just that I've found different ways over the years on how to obtain that. So I'm sort of shifting and turning around based on how I am navigating that. And I hope you will be on the journey with me. So before we get into today's topic, I wanted to remind you all, if you haven't listened in a past episode, that I have just launched a really good session that is bang on topic with what we're discussing today, which I have called your 2024 Personal Goals and Guidance Session. I'm very excited about this new format that I've just brought out for January and February, and I will see beyond that, where you book a 1-hour session with me on Zoom, and I know exactly the step-by-step, but we work out your goals for this year. And I find it's really helpful to have a structure, to have someone guiding you through it, and in 1 hour, you will have clarity. So we'll look at your life holistically. We will map all the different areas of your life to look at where your satisfactions level are at and what you want to happen in various areas. And then we'll choose what to focus on. We'll choose what is most important to you. And then we'll translate that into actual goals and a couple of steps under that. So in 1 hour, we do the full process. That's what I'm going to talk about today, but in a way that is also very personalized to you, and you also get my guidance and my coaching. So if this speaks to you, I'll put the link in the show note. Also, I'll leave you the link. It's on my website at careercatchup.com/2024 goals in one word. And this session is under $100. So really, I just can't think of a better way to set up your year and to know what you're going to be going after this year. And then to be so proud comes the end of the year of the progress that you have achieved. So I'm really excited, and I hope that we get to do this session together. Now, let's get into 2024. What's going to happen this year? How do you set goals? Let's get into it. What to expect for 2024. And again, this is just my opinion, my thoughts, my view, my forecast. I am no expert. I'm certainly no psychic as far as I know. I'm not a medium. I know you can go and find those people and pay for a prediction for this year, or you can get a tarot reading if you're into that. So go and Google those things if that's what you're after. I'm not here to predict the future, but I'm here to share what I'm seeing, and this is one of my strengths, to be able to really see patterns when sometimes people don't really see them, and to connect the dots. So I've got a lot of faith into what I'm going to share today. Okay, so my thoughts is that this year, 2024, will be very similar to last year. It won't be like groundbreakingly different. It will be a bit of an extension. It's like a continuation of what we've been working on last year, and probably a couple of years prior to. I don't think this year is going to be vastly different for most people. That's my thought. Why do I say that? The main reason is looking at the astrology for the year. So I won't talk to you about all the details. Again, you can find that on other podcasts. The transits this year are a continuation of some transits last year. There's a couple of new things. The main one is Pluto changing sign, which I have mentioned in a past podcast. It changes sign every 20 years. So it's at the end of January, and it's really going to take the full year to really settle into that. So it will happen more into the future. This year won't be like a huge level of change. It's just the beginning of the change. So this year, I think we'll have a different flavor, but this year won't be like the revolution. It won't be the miracle year. I don't think it will be like everything gets 10 times better. And that's not how life operates anyway. Life operates in cycles, and life operates in pretty gradual changes. But what I've been talking about, and I still believe in, I think we're still in that change process that kicked off at the pandemic in 2020. And this is the last year in that cycle, in my opinion. And I think we are going to see the last things that need to crumble. And I think the last things that need to crumble will crumble this year. I think it's kind of like, the last chapter already last year we got a lot of things happening. There's a couple more, I believe, going to happen this year. So from a worldwide, if you like, from a collective point of view, I still think we are going to see some political unrest. The financial and economic structures around the world, we are still going to see movements around that. We're still going to see shake-ups. We're going to see inquiries. Like I'm thinking in Australia, we have a Senate inquiries into supermarket prices. Like I think this is the theme. We are still like where we've been the last couple of years, just unpacking those situations, those structures that maybe are abusing powers, they are threatening humanity, they are not good for people. I really think the last couple of that is going to come out this year. And I don't know what it will be, but I'm preparing myself for that. And for you, on an individual level, if you have so far been resisting something in one area of your life, or maybe two, something on the career front or something on the personal, family front or relationship front, I think this year it will be the most confronting for you. Like it will push you to address it. And this is the year when it will go. So as much as I'm talking about things that will continue to kind of be destabilized, restructured for the better, but it won't only get better in 25, 26, I also know that this year we can expect new things. So it's a tale of both sides, right? And we will see new innovations, new things in the tech space, in the finance space, maybe in the media space as well, maybe with social media, with AI. Like this is going to take off more this year, and this aligns with the age of Aquarius that I've mentioned. So we can expect some investment, and I think some pretty positive. I'm hopeful for that. And also from a humanitarian point of view, we can start to expect, initiatives, projects, things that will bring people more together than has happened in the last couple of years. On an individual level, I mentioned, working on something you've been resisting, but wherever you're at, I think this is a year for more healing, for still working on yourself, on your mental patterns, and working on your relationships. And I'm part of it. And do I love that? No. I just wish we could just go on and build things and create lots of things and opportunities and success and money. Yes. And we can do that, but we can't do it without the work that goes with it. And so I think it's another year of that. I personally have done a lot of that already last year, and I've shared with you, but I think there is more coming. And basically the themes that I can feel this year are about not accepting what is not right for us. In other words, making choices, having boundaries, making decisions for things that, are not good for our health, our well-being, for our happiness, for our purpose. I think this is the year where we're going to feel empowered to make those decisions and to, be more authentic with ourselves. So this is kind of my overview for the year. I know it's pretty broad, but think about it for yourself. What started for you in 2023 and that is maybe still unfolding? Or what things have you been resisting in the last couple of years? And maybe this is the year to tackle it. And if you don't tackle it, my guess is you will be pushed to tackle it this year, because we all have been going through some kind of several transformations in the last couple of years. So if you've been pushing it away because it is scary and it is tough, it takes so much courage, yes, I still think it's going to come at you this year. So do you want to be proactive and facilitate it? Or are you going to still hold back? And it's going to be inevitable at some point this year or straight after it. So your choice, really. And really look into that. What is painful? What has been a growing pain? And, when I talk about still working on ourselves and our mental patterns and relationship, how can you strap yourself up for another year of that? That's the question I ask myself, because it takes resilience, it takes determination, it takes effort, and I wish I was done, but I'm not done. And I'll talk more about that in our goals, right? But so knowing that, this year is going to be the continuation of last year, like, what do you need and how are you going to be carrying yourself through another year of working on yourself? That is a really good question. Another thing I wanted to mention here is, as you're looking at your year 2024, you can draw on so many sources of inspiration, but I want to say two things. The first one is using numerology. I'm not an expert either, but what I know is we go through 9-year cycles, and I have been using that myself just to know what part of the cycle I am in. So you can go and look at it online, but basically the year of your birth is year number 1. And what I do is I write down every single year from my birth year all the way to today, and you write a number next to it. The first one being year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then when you get to 9, you restart to 1. And you can map what has happened in your life each of those years. And you will see it's a full cycle. It absolutely is for me. So why am I talking about that? Look at what year you are in your cycle, because it will be different. This year, 2024, for me is year 1. So I'm very excited, and it's definitely a year where I need to plan new goals. And last year was year 9, and it felt like year 9, a lot of things were kind of wrapping up and closing, and I was preparing for new things. So I really recommend you check this out if it speaks to you, so you can see where you're at. And each year has a different role. Like year number 1 is about new beginning, a new project. Year number 2 is about connection, it's about relationship. Year number 3 is about creation, expressing yourself. So just go and check it out. And the other thing I wanted to mention is you may look at horoscopes. I personally recommend the Moon Man's horoscope. But also I've done more work and learned more things this couple of weeks, and I've realized that they can often be really generic and broad, and the best way to really know what sort of year you are going to have is to get a birth chart reading. So based on your natal chart. I'm not currently offering that, but I will at some point this year, because I'm going to get qualified in that. So either hang out for that or go and find someone else you trust that can do it. Because then you can use your own chart to know, based on your chart, what's happening astrologically this year and how that will affect you. So just a side note, be mindful otherwise reading horoscope. That might be very generic for your sun sign or your rising sign. All right, my friend, that's what I wanted to say about 2024. Let's move into goal setting. Okay, so goal setting for this year. I've already said it. There is no one way. There is no one size fits all. And don't get overwhelmed. Like, don't binge on all the articles and free tools and courses out there. Just pick the one that speaks to you and just run with that and see how that lands this year. You just need to do what feels right to you and to keep it quite simple. If you would like, I have done a PDF planner for 2023-2024. In the second section, half of the planner is all about 2024 to help you plan through questions and through a template. So if you're not on my mailing list, because I've shared it with all my subscribers, first of all, you should get on it. It's on my website at careercatchup.com, and then you will get it every single year. But if you're not on it and you want it right now, just send me an email at info@careercatchup.com and ask me for a copy of the planner. It's free. I will email it to you. Okay, so that's one template you can use. But maybe you've seen other things out there. But I just want to say, simplify. Don't use different things, because you're going to hear so many different methods and that will do your head in. So I'm going to share here how I've done mine and see if that's a process you want to follow. So I'll say, first of all, that last year, I didn't really do goals. I kind of did them wishy-washy, kind of had a lukewarm approach. And that translated into having very lukewarm results. So there's the learning, right? But it was also my year 9, so it makes sense. Like I just follow. Last year I didn't feel like setting firm goals. Now I understand why. It was year 9. Now year 1, like I felt like, okay, this year I feel a lot more action coming up for me. Also, I look at the goals that I had last year, and to be honest, quite a few are still the same this year. So a good question to ask is why they didn't happen and are they still relevant? So one goal I have given up on last year, which is fine, but some I'm still carrying across. So I just want to say here that, sometimes there's a lot of talk about the goals being more like intentions and you're going to feel into them and feel the feelings. That's all good. But I really feel that the message I need to share this year is that we all need to start planning more. I think this is the year to be more practical, to put some, meat around it, to have a plan, to have a structure, to have details, especially if you are the type of person who resists this or avoids this or tends to procrastinate, and I am one of them. I can actually plan, but following the plan is a completely different story. And I just feel like doing what I feel like on the spot. So I know, and I think that's kind of the lesson for some of us. It's really important to plan, especially if you're big on feeling into things, meditation, alignment, that's all really good. But usually we tend to lack the practical aspect, which is to actually take action in the physical world and making it happen. And so that's what I'm going to follow this year. And maybe that's you as well. And really, it's that saying, if you are failing to plan, then you're planning to fail. It's a bit harsh, but I'm applying that to myself this year. I'm like, okay, I'm really going to plan and see what happens. Also, I feel like we've had years post the pandemic where we have kind of shifted into a state of a bit of passivity, a bit of, having limited control about what happened. And we've been waiting and we've been struggling and we've been tired and exhausted and all of that. And I think it has impacted our energy to really work on our goals. So for me, this is the year where I want to start getting back into it. So 2 things I've done to approach my goals, and I recommend you combine the 2. The first thing is focusing on how you want to feel this year, what is going to make you feel amazing. That's the good stuff, So you can start with the feeling and think about what will give you that feeling. The feeling might be you want more joy, or you want more fun, or you want more freedom, or you want more inner peace, like whatever it is, more calm. You might want more energy, and then go from there and think about, okay, what would be really great to have there? You might know as well, straight on the top of your mind, the things that you really want to bring because they've been a long-term dream. That's really good as well. So that's kind of bucket 1. These are the things that are going to move you to those great feelings, because what we're chasing at the end of the day is a feeling of fulfillment. But not just a feeling. We need to define what will give us that and go after it. And bucket number 2, on the other hand, I have looked at what needs addressing. So this is looking at the painful stuff, right? That's the mirror. We look at what's going to make us feel great and what is currently preventing us from feeling great. What is the stuff that is in between where we are right now and where we want to be? What is interfering? What is blocking our potential? What's impacting us and our energy, and what's draining us, right? So this stuff needs to be removed. It's all well and good to say you want to chase up this holiday and this money goal and this new job, but there are reasons why you're not doing that right now. And that is what also needs to be looked at. So look at both of those things and just come up with 3 to 5 goals. I personally think closer to 3 is better than 5. I think it's plenty. 3, maybe 4. I have 4. And, list your goals and treat your habits separately. I think habits are not goals, but list a couple, 2, 3 habits tops that you want to change or you want to start creating, bringing in your life. To me, habits is just a smaller thing. It's more about consistency. Goals require a lot more planning and action. So I separate the two. So now we're going to go to the next step. So you do have 3 to 5 goals. For each goal, you are going to write how you're going to achieve it. And that is like solving for your goal. And that's the hardest, but you got to answer that, because what we tend to do is, I have this goal and I really believe in it. I'm looking at it every day and maybe I have a vision board, but we don't actually look at the nuts and bolts of it. So you really need to ask yourself that question, ask your brain to answer that. What are the ways? And you will see, you kind of know. It's at least, how will you do it? You will have to answer this and solve for this and create that and all of that. So start listing that. They're not actions yet. It's just the nuts and bolts, the cogs of it, if you like. And then write the support that you need. Write, all the things that the resources, the support. Think, do I need help in that space, or can I do it all by myself? Secondly, under each of those goals, super important is to write, what limiting beliefs do you have about that goal? Because we all do. Otherwise, you'll already be living that goal. And especially if you had the same goal last year or maybe the year prior, like is the case for me with one of my goals, it's the same this year. So unless I change something, I will be having it as a goal next year too. And usually if it hasn't happened, even though you've taken some action, it means there is some form of self-sabotage going on, or there is a limiting belief that is likely sitting in your subconscious. You don't even know what it is, but there is something blocking you. And it's usually along the line of something that you don't think you deserve, something that you've been told you shouldn't want, or something that's too good to be true. Like there is some kind of a block in there in your mind. So really important. And even if it's a new goal, you will automatically start hearing that voice in your head saying, but I can't, but it's too hard, but I don't have time, it's going to cost too much money, I just don't want to have to restart all over again, this or that, or this isn't possible, this doesn't exist. Like, you watch, there will be a whole lot of that. So really write down all those negative voices, conscious or unconscious, that you have around that goal. And really important this year to do some work to not just being aware, like you got to notice those things when they come, and then you need to reframe and go, this is a thought that's not attached to me, but that thought is not helpful. And it's just a thought, and that is why it's not yet in your reality. So it's very important to do the work to reframe, and you need to do that nearly daily or as it comes up. It's really questioning, challenging your thought and saying, no, I don't believe that. I believe that it's possible for me. I believe that I fully deserve it. Every time it comes up, you need to change it. Whether it's an affirmation, whether, you say it aloud, whether you say that in your meditation every day, whether you use EFT to really shift that belief. That is a big part of, I won't say goal setting. Goal setting, you need to identify what beliefs need to shift. But that's the practice during the year to make those things happen. And this is what we do in career and life coaching as well. I can help you. I can see the limiting belief that you can't see. And same for me, like other people see mine a lot more clearly. So that is what you need to shift alongside the actions that you're going to take. So when it comes to the action, once you know how you're going to achieve them, turn that into priorities for each month. And within each of those priorities, turn into actions to take at a weekly level. I would recommend that is where I'm going to this year, because that's where I want to force myself to be focused and really run with that at least for 3 months and see how it goes for me. So this year, I've actually found a great goals diary that is from Kiki K. So maybe check it out if you're in Australia, but there might be something in your local market, a goals diary where you can go from your top goal to quarterly goals to weekly focus a really good way to keep you on track. And those can have a habits tracker as well, where it's really easy to tick every single week. Right, so you got to have that scaffolding from the top down to what you're doing each week. And then imagine you are living that goal. Imagine like it has happened. To me, that's the last step. You need to kind of live in the expectation of it and like walk and step into your vision, because that brings that goal closer. If you can already project yourself, you can start seeing as well what needs to change in the way that you think, in the way that you behave, in the way that you run your life, in the way that your house is set up, or whatever it is, because you need to really believe that you're going to become that. You're going to have that this year. So what does it mean today? What can you start changing and creating? So really wanted to leave you with those questions. What needs to shift in the way that I think, in the way that I operate, and in the way that I run my life? So that's really at the end of goal setting. This is like about the couple of actions and routine you need to put in place to make those goals happen. But first, make sure you really write down all of those, like a funnel, the top goals, and what does that mean on a quarterly basis, on a monthly basis, and then this way, like what are those actions, and then just track and just stick to it for at least 3 months and then review it. Okay, so this were my thoughts about 2024, and this is how I go about setting up my goals. I now want to leave you with the final thoughts, kind of a motto for the year, which is a quote I read online from Hillary Clinton, and she says, "Get caught trying." I don't mean this in a bad way, like you're trying to hide something, do it and get caught. But I mean it in that you are trying things this year. And I apply this to myself as well. You are now going to try and take some actions. You don't need to wait any longer. You don't need more stuff. You don't need more readiness, more prep, more courses, more actions that need to happen for you to be ready. You don't realize how much you already know, and you will find other things along the way as you need them. But if you try, you're going to learn something. You're going to get closer. Your year would have mattered. So, and I mean this collectively for myself as well. Let's make 2024 a year where we are no longer hiding behind beliefs, behind opinions, behind thoughts, like things like this won't work and I'm afraid and all those things, because they have stopped us in the last year and the year prior and the year prior and the year prior. What if we say no more to this, and this year we're really going to test it out for ourselves and we're going to see what is actually true, and we're going to learn either way. So there is only a positive outcome. It's either going to be success or learning. So same for me. So what if you tried in 2024? So this is how I look at it. I'm going to try expanding my business and my services. I'm going to try new ways of meeting people. I'm going to try expanding my money mindset and see what's possible for me. I'm going to try following my gut and intuition in my business. I'm going to try forcing myself to schedule and implementing those actions, right? Will it work? I don't know, but I will have tried. So I just want to leave you with that final thought. Get caught trying this year and really just do things you haven't done or you've put on the back burner, and don't let the fears stop you, and don't let those limiting beliefs sabotage you, because that's all they are. They just thought that are just standing there. They don't have to be there. And you've got to be the one removing them. And then you'll try new things and you'll be like, I actually was not right. So I think you really get the gist. Like, this is the year to try, and this is the year to plan properly. So if you do need assistance with that, check out my personal goals and guidance session on my website and in the show notes. All right, my friend, I thank you for being here. I wish you a very good, successful planning process, and I will speak with you in the next episode. Take care, everyone. Bye for now. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to find out more information, you can visit my website at careercatchup.com. There you will find blog articles, free resources, a self-study course for your career direction, and ways to work with me. It's at careercatchup.com. I hope to continue to connect with you and support you. Talk to you soon.